Ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, my friends. This is Pinky.
And this is Priyanka.
And we're here to call out all things PakeAsPuck.
You're really good at doing the countdown. I get confused and I screw up. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you do it often?
So much. In my head.
1, 2.
3, 2, 1. Blushed off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just kidding. Okay, so this has been on my mind. We're just gonna get into it.
I was like, damn, okay, we diving in.
We could be the hot take from the beginning. I don't fucking care.
It's not good. We're just talking.
So I've noticed ever since the bath salt Betty thing, I've been like kind of gauging, clocking, whatever you want to say, with people like that are new to my life, right?
Okay.
Meaning like if you knew me before all this stuff popped off in real life friends, right? I have no issues with you. You know me beforehand. You know, if you ask me how my kids are and we're out in public, I don't think anything of it. However, there's been 2 instances where the person knew me from social media first, and they're trying real hard to get into the BTS of my life now. And I don't like it. I appreciate their support. I appreciate anybody who follows me, anybody who buys a ticket. Like, if you recognize me out in the wild, it does make me feel good. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, because it makes you feel important. Like, you were thinking about me. I have people that I live within my own house that don't think about me. And so if a stranger comes up to me and says, "Oh my God," yes, right?
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna be respectful.
You're important to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that, right? But sometimes I don't think they understand that there's still that like boundary that they're trying to cross, and it's getting really creepy.
Yeah.
And it's happened twice. So the first time was, and this is by no means is anyone, like, I'm not going to use their names because I don't want them to feel bad about how they've been behaving with me. And I don't feel like, unless they do something where it's like, yo, you need to back the fuck up now, I won't say anything. Like, my threshold, my tolerance is pretty high for bullshittery, which it shouldn't be.
You know how much you're going to let them in and where to kind of
and so, like,
barricade them.
The first instance was with roommate number 3, and, he tried out for baseball, and the coach the head guy has all the list of names of all the kids that tried out and their scores on batting, catching, fielding, whatever, right? Whatever evaluations they did. And the wife looks at the list, and the wife's like, "Oh my God, I think that's Pinky Patel's son. We need him on our team. We need him on our team. I think that's Pinky Patel's son."
But she's saying like out loud. I get so protective over that because like
Well, here's the thing.
We cover you.
I know.
I'm always, anytime I'm traveling with her, I'm looking around to make sure people don't know. Like,
everybody
is looking at your ID. You know, like.
And so, but the first, and so
I said that out loud. I'm dumbfounded.
Well, she said it to me, which is what kind of made me feel a little bit like, okay, I'm going to try to be friendly with you because our kids are on the same baseball team, and now you're in my personal life. However, I'm not going to give you too much. Like, I'm trying to find that balance with her.
Yeah.
But, like, then my tour had started, right, at the same time, the first tour, so I was go. Hard as a motherfucker, right? Hardly ever home. And when I was home, I always made it a point to go to roommate number 3's baseball games because I wasn't getting to see him play anymore, right? And so I'm at this first game, and she tells me this right away, and I just looked at her like, that's not normal. Like, did you want my son on your team because in hopes that I would show up and you can fangirl? Or did you want him on your team because he's got the skills that you want on your team?
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like a very political-esque conversation right now.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it made me
why
feel,
did you want him on your team?
Right, like, it made me feel weird. Like, I didn't like it, and so, but I wasn't going to be mean to her. I was just like, oh, yeah. And then I just kind of let it slide.
Is it?
But to feel comfortable enough to say that to me, like, you saying it to your husband is one thing in the privacy of your own home, looking at the roster of all the children, right? You saying it to your husband is one thing, but now you're telling me this, and I'm the person that
We needed to get your son on the team.
right. Like, what do you, and like, if she told me now, 3 years
Almost
later,
as if she's kind of doing you a favor, or
Right.
does she just want to have bragging rights that her kid plays with your kid?
right. I don't know, but my gut,
And you never will.
my gut is telling me it's
Nobody's
the
ever
latter.
going to come out with that.
Right. My gut is telling me that it's the latter, and 9 out of 10, my gut is always right. And so, like I said, you know, I try to be friendly, but not overly friendly, and not too cold and distant.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, I'm trying to find that balance with her. And I explained this.
Office decorum.
Right. And yes. And so I told my husband this last week on our way home from the club, and he was just like, he couldn't understand why that made me uncomfortable. Because when we were at the club, there were, because, you know, I've been posting that I'm trying out new material there. And the first time there was nobody that we knew, which I was fine with, because I need to know if I'm funny enough for strangers to laugh at me, not just people who see my videos. Like, I want to know if people who've never seen my content also laugh at me, which
Yeah.
makes me a good stand-up
That's
comedian.
like some comedians do really well with like crowd work, and they only push that out
Right.
on socials.
And then you go
But
see
then
their show, and
then
it's like your shit show.
You kind of cringe.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so I'm happy either way. If there's people in my audience, like my followers, or if there's not, I don't care, right? It's helping me to become a better stand-up comedian. And so last week, you know, we walk in, and luckily we walked in at like 7:25, and the show started at 7:30, and we sit down because one of our ex-coworkers was there. She was. Hopefully you didn't hear that.
I did.
But she was there because she likes to come out when
I'm in the text thread.
Yeah, I forgot. That's true. I didn't know if you would remember.
I read them.
Okay. So she was there, and I was like, oh, and I saw her, so I just like zoned in on her and I wasn't registering other people there, and my hair was down, I didn't have my crown on, I came in incognito, not flashy, nothing.
Yeah.
But as soon as I was like, hey, so apparently all I need to do is open my mouth and talk because I have that distinct voice, right? So the table of 4 women turn around and they're like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. Like, it was nice.
It was
you know?
awesome.
I was
Yeah.
like, great, there's 4 people.
People came for you.
Right. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they did or if they were just shocked that I was there, and it was great, right? And then there was another table, like when I got on stage, I saw somebody else with my tour shirt on. I was like, oh, hey. Turns out, and they told me this afterwards, like there was another group of 4 women. And now one of them is is the wife of a retired high school teacher. So my roommate number 2, she knows roommate number 2. Like, she knows roommate number 2's name, and she knows who he is, and she knows. And so what she says to me, same line as the other one with roommate number 3. Oh yeah, my husband didn't tell me that your son, insert son's name. Now she's saying my son's name in front of her 3 friends.
They don't get it.
And I was just like, and she's like, yeah, if my husband had told me that you were going to be at Mr. AT because your son was there, I would have also come, and I would have come to say hi to you. And I was just like, kind of like Bath Salt Betty. And she was like, oh, no, I'm not like a stalker like that. But I'm like, yeah, but you told 3 strangers my son's name.
They're fangirls.
I know,
right? And
I know.
They honestly do mean well.
I know. That's why I didn't get mad at her.
They just don't get it, and they haven't seen you go through that paranoia and protection of your family. They literally just don't get it. And you have to kind of just treat it as ignorance. But it's scary that it's out there.
Like, I was really nice to them. I did not give them any, like, you know, like, I don't want to talk to you now because you're being weird.
They were comfortable enough to at least approach you and talk to you. Think about how many people in your lifetime you have interacted with.
I know.
You have some family members.
Yeah.
That will praise you and support you and look out for you. And then you have some that may badmouth you.
Right.
And
which is true.
Share stuff that they may or may not know the whole truth about, right?
Or share things that they have no right to share.
Things will get out. You knew this.
I know.
Right? Like, you knew this. Eventually people are going to know where you live, this and that. We can protect ourselves as much as possible.
It was just weird that, like,
it's kinda,
she specifically, like, the fact that she said my son's name when we have had no real reason to interact as the wife of a faculty member.
It comes off creepy.
And a student and a parent of a student.
That's terrifying.
Because like my kid was never in her husband's class. Never, you know, like he has friends that were in his class, but never like, I don't know. It was like, how did you, and so when I was talking to my girls when we were walking about it, I was like, I felt weird. I mean, obviously I was really nice to her. And like I said, I appreciate the support, but I just wish sometimes people would be like,
she's still a human being.
Does she put her kids' names and stuff on blast? No? Then maybe I shouldn't as well. You know? That's all I'm asking for. Is like, if you do, and like I said, very supportive. I think that second group of 4 women.
I've had to catch myself so many times from stopping myself from saying things out loud. Because I was like, oh, no, we're in a public place.
Exactly.
Right?
And like, same with my friends, you know? Like, when we're out at, you know, a local fucking restaurant for a birthday, and I'm oblivious because I'm living in the moment. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm not like looking to see who's doing a double take and who's not. And you can't expect me to not talk, because if I don't talk, everybody's gonna be like, why aren't you saying anything?
Yeah, they're gonna label you a bitch.
Right. And like, I mean, no, mine would call me out. They'd be like, why aren't you saying anything? Why are you being quiet right now? You know, like, and that's not me either. Like, when I'm with my friends, you know, we like joke around, we talk and all that stuff. So, but they're the ones that will notice it before I do, like the double takes and stuff. And I know that there's somebody in the vicinity that's doing double takes because they switch the way they say things. Like, if we were talking about our kids, they stopped saying my kids' names. And instead of calling me by, you know, my legal name, they'll use Pinky and all that kind of stuff.
People still use your legal name.
Yeah, because they're like,
I've gotten used to Pinky so much now that I don't even put the two together now.
I mean, it's, luckily this podcast is not that robust yet. But it just, I was trying to, like I said, I appreciate the support. I appreciate coming, like, I love making people laugh. That's really, as long as I'm still doing that, I don't care. But I feel like on the flip side, you kind of have to be aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it, right? Like, I mean, if I saw Ed Sheeran on the street, right, I'd be like, oh my God, how's it going? You know, and at a meet and greet, whatever. He's my favorite. Like, I love him, right? I would ask him, how's the family doing? Because I know that he has 2 kids now. And even if I knew the kids' names, like I know his wife's name, but I would never be like, how's your wife Cherry doing?
Because you understand
privacy,
the media side of it, and how quickly word travels.
Yeah.
They don't understand the power of social media because they're not in it. Just like you said, there are creators, there are consumers, and then there's creators, right? Yeah. They're just consuming. They have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. And that's where I'm kind of the nice me.
I know.
The fluffy me is just like, let's cut them a little slack.
And I
don't think they had any malintent. It's scary as fuck. Yeah. But I don't think they had any malintent.
And I know they don't, which is why I haven't let it bother me to that point. You know, like I haven't. Like,
but just a PSA, you know? Fucking be cool.
Be chill, man. Be chill. Like, I mean, like I said, I get it. Like, if I see somebody that I just saw on my screen.
You would cream your panties if you saw Ed Sheeran.
I probably would. I think I did last year at his concert. Oh, hey, TMI. We're just rolling with the TMI here.
Who gives a shit? It's okay.
But, like, I mean, and then it got me started thinking about, like, all the parasocial relationships that people have with content creators that they see on the daily on their screens.
I don't have a very big following by any means on my social media, but like for a while I've just been in the heat of it with life, that I don't share too much on stories and this and that. I don't get into a lot of details because I just don't have the fucking time. But for a while, when I was sharing more and more in my stories, you develop relationships with people on social media, and it's really nice to like find friends as an adult, because you don't.
Right.
But then to take it back and be like, okay, you're inviting them into your life to some degree, but they're not entitled to a lot of that information. Right. But many times I had somebody reach out to me and they're like, oh, I haven't seen your kids in a while.
No.
But like, you haven't checked in on me otherwise, but you're asking about my kids.
Yeah.
And I just straight up told her, I'm just like, way too many pervy things happen online, so I've taken them off.
Scaled back,
yeah, I've scaled back tremendously. I don't even share stories about them anymore.
Really?
Not really.
I haven't been able to keep up much. And so, like, and because of the fact
I share here.
Right.
Right, like stupid shit that happens.
Well, this is, it's better that you share here.
I don't mind venting about my kids. That's fine.
Right.
That's my journey. I'm allowed to.
Right, but like when people DM you and ask you, oh, you haven't posted about your kids. What's up? It's like, why are you being creepy?
Yeah, it's just like, hi, how are you? You haven't checked in on me otherwise, but...
Like, oh, I usually watch your stories, but you haven't posted on your stories. Is everything okay? Like, that's all it takes, But
at the same time, I don't know you like that, so it's still kind of scary to share. You're just not entitled to that kind of information.
I don't know. But I feel like even before I started content creation, like when I was younger, right? Like, did I obsess over certain movie stars and stuff? Yes, because I used to be a big pop culture person, right? Like, watched all the movies because I loved going to the movies, stuff like that. Just fantasy, all that. But like, if I ever saw those stars in real life, like, yes, I would be like, just want to let you know that I love your movies. Can I take a picture? If not, that's cool. Like, permission.
Yeah.
And that's like, I would leave them alone because at the end of the day, they're still a person, you know? And I don't know, I wouldn't, just the fact that you think you know somebody because of some little, and here's what we found out on our walk, right? So when I was telling my girls this, when we were walking, we did the 5 degrees of separation, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and so they were like, well, let's see. Who would she know that you know? And then we went through everybody, like from PTA, from this. And then we figured out, we're like, oh, it's probably this person. Because she knew me from PTA when my older kid was in school with her kid at the same elementary school and all this stuff. And we know this person, the person that we both would have known, the mutual. And everybody's like, yeah, she fucking would have told everybody your kids' names. She has she's more clout chasing. Like, oh yeah, I know her. Her son's name is blah, 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 blah.
Oh, God, I hate that so much.
And like, my friend was telling me, she's like, yeah, whenever she comes up to me and she's like, oh, how's Pinky doing? I just pretend I don't know you. Because whoever asks me how Pinky is doing, I know they don't really care about you.
Correct.
Especially if you know me from here. Right? Like, I know which friends, like, my friends know which friends call me Pinky and which ones don't. And so if it's somebody who never knew me as Pinky, from PTA and all that. And so she's like, yeah, I just pretend I don't know you. I was like, oh yeah, Melissa does the same thing. Because, we've heard it from Melissa, right? Like, people I don't know if they still do now, but whenever, we do post a story or something on her stories or my stories or something when we're together, she gets so, oh, well, were you hanging out with so-and-so? It's like, you have eyeballs. I know you saw my post. I went into the analytics and the insights and I saw your username because you're a dummy and you use your first and last name. So.
Oh, we're talking about the chaos.
Right? Yeah. I mean, but in general, people ask her and I feel bad.
No, but that girl that you're referring to always, she's the one that plays things dumb,
Plays or is?
No,
I'm just
no,
kidding.
I think she's very,
not dumb. She's
very
smart, yeah.
tactful, yeah. But she's the one that, like, sees everything. I know you've been watching my stories, okay?
Yeah. We're both looking at you now.
Right. I know.
She
watched my stories to know what's going on. And she's the kind of person that takes all this in and uses it to her advantage when she can. But she'll play stupid like, oh my God, so like, what'd you do this weekend?
Yeah. She's done that to Melissa so much. Yeah.
What kind of information you're willing to share with her, because she's already dug around. She's the person that will sit there late at night and deep dive onto your page, and she's so sad.
But then in the morning she'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I couldn't sleep last night. And like, bitch, why?
Honestly, okay, so let's go back to her for a second. Let's go back to work. So when I started putting certain things together with her, I was scared to share things online. And so on my Instagram, because I knew, I'm like, okay, she's watching what happened the night before. What is she going to go and tell her, like, boss that she was definitely,
sucking dick. Let's just say it.
I mean, she wasn't realistically doing it, but she absolutely was, like, brown-nosing him, right? But I didn't know how she was going to interpret my stories and position herself.
Oh, yeah.
She would leverage it, right?
Yeah.
To position herself. And now, all of a sudden, like, I'm getting the pity party from my boss saying, like, I know things are just really hard for you at home. It's really hard with a newborn.
Like, how? I didn't tell you this.
It was just what the narrative that he was painting of me. Like, I get it. It's really hard. You've got a little baby that's teething. Whatever the case. Like, yeah, I'm dealing with my own shit, but I'm also getting my shit done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why are you bringing my personal life into my professional life?
But he would try to bridge that gap and paint the picture that I couldn't handle my shit.
Yeah.
And it spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
So I couldn't share too much. She doesn't know, kind of going back to like consumers versus creators. I would do those makeup looks and stuff. Do you remember when I would do like tutorials on Instagram?
Uh-huh.
I would do those on the weekends during naps and this and that.
And then post it during the week.
Post it throughout the week.
Right.
She did not know that.
So she thought you were doing it that day.
Maybe.
Right. Because she's a dumbass.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
And I do think that stuff like that probably got me in trouble because it was misconstrued.
Yeah. Because she was just opening and flapping her mouth without knowing.
Look at what she's doing during work hours. Yeah. No, it's fucking scheduled.
Right.
Meanwhile, dumb fuck.
Meanwhile, she's the one that was using work from home as free babysitting. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's rule number 1 from work from home. All employers tell their employees you cannot use work from home as a free babysitting service.
Except during COVID time when we had no choice.
That we were in an apocalypse. That is different. That's different. But like the fact that people think. Like I said, just the parasocial relationships. And I get what you're saying. Like, you know, in the beginning, it's easy to kind of keep tight reins on things. And, like, as this thing gets bigger, right? Like, when my 1 hour special comes out, you don't think it's going to, like, you know?
People will... They're going to find you.
Right. They're going to.
You just have to be smart enough to have your... responses ready. Like, you just have to be on the defense, I think, is the main thing. And that's the best way to protect yourself. And hopefully, as it gets bigger, you'll also have more resources to better protect yourself.
I don't know. I just, like, right now, I'm definitely learning how to give proper responses to things that I'm hearing on the fly without, like, my face changing, which is very hard for me because I definitely, you know what I'm thinking on my face because I don't have a good poker face, right? I have either a very expressive face or I have RBF. Like, there's no in between. Like,
I think you could pull it off pretty well though, because you're kind of erratic in your personality. So if you did say something a little out of line, like, she's just so funny.
They'd be like, hey, let's not do that.
Go, whatever.
Which I do. Like, sometimes when I get nervous, I do end up like being a little bit erratic, and so I say things in a joking way, but they're coming from a place of you better fucking listen because I didn't, you know.
It's the equivalent of being firm and then throwing a JK at the end.
Like I was telling somebody, I think I was telling Melissa, I was like, it really kind of irritates me when people who didn't know me before social media know me from social media and then now want to know me in my personal life. And I'm just like, I don't know if the intentions are altruistic or if it's just so they can say, oh yeah, well, I know her in real life. It's fine.
Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to follow, all that good stuff. We'll see you on the next one.
Okay, bye.